Hello and welcome to the part 3 of the Python web application tutorials. Today we will start looking at actually making our note application and separating our views a little bit. So yeah, let's go to the project. And as always, source bin activate, and we will open up our editor right away. So basically this is what we did last time. We sort of rendered a list of names basically. So what we're going to do today is to start by creating some functions to create notes. So let's just add another Python file here called note utils or something like that. Okay. Then we're going to have one function here to list notes, and we will just call this get notes. And we'll do nothing there right now. And then we'll have another function here called create note. And maybe we'll have one called delete note as well. Right. So in this part, we will not use like a real database. We will just save everything into a file right now. And this is just to make it easier. We will implement the database later in another part, but not in this part. Okay, so let's start. So what we want to do now is that we want to define a constant here called db file name. And let's just call this database.json. Okay, we will save everything to a JSON file. And if we're going to work with JSON, we also need to import the JSON module like that, right? And now let's make our get notes function first. So actually we want to import OS as well, because we want to check if the file exists and stuff like that. So now let's work on our get notes function. This one will basically just read the db file and return all notes. So to do that, we'll just check if the file exists first, or if it doesn't exist maybe. If not, os.path.isFile db file name let's return an empty list if it doesn't exist. But if it does exist, then we will open it. Actually, we will just do return open db file name dot read, and we'll wrap that in json.loads. So what this will do is that it will first read the contents of the file, and it will parse the JSON and return everything in it. So basically our file will be an array. It will have an array in it that we will return here. Right? Now we want to do the create note method. So let's copy this here. So if the file doesn't exist, then basically we want to create it. So we want to do actually we might not need to do that. No, we will not. We actually don't need to do that. I think we can just do open db file name dot read. Let's do that. Notes equals. Actually, we can actually just do notes equals get notes. So we need old notes to be able to append to them. So notes equal get notes. Actually, this one will take an argument as well. So we will have, maybe our note will have a title and some content, okay? So we're gonna do notes.append, title equals title, content equals content. So yeah. Then we need to write the notes to the file again. Open db file name dot write, and we can do W plus here, so this means that it will write the file even if it doesn't exist. So yeah, that's pretty useful. Write json.dumps notes. So what we're doing here is that we get the currently existing notes, the list, and we append a new note to the list, which is a dictionary that has a title and a content. Then we basically just dump that list again to the file. Okay. Now we want to be able to delete notes as well. We will look into that method later. For now, let us just be able to get notes and create notes. Okay. Let's save this file. And we will not use this file right away. First, we're going to create some views. Okay. So, we have our route here, that is the front page that we created in the last video. We're actually going to remove this, and we will only have this part in this file. And then we're going to create another folder inside our Note app directory here called views, and inside of the views directory we need to create the init.py file so that Python knows that this is a package or a module. And inside the views directory we can create our blueprints, as they are called in Flask, which basically is just separating views. So we will create a blueprint here called let's do notes.py. Okay. So I have a snippet for this. But basically what we're doing is that we're from Flask we're importing blueprint and render template, and we do bp equals blueprint, name, and the template folder equals templates. We also want to do URL prefix equals notes. This means that all the routes we add to this blueprint will start with /notes, okay? So let's do our /route first. This will be the front page in the notes blueprint, so to speak. So let's call this, let's just call this list. This will list, the front page in the notes will basically just list notes. So we will render, we haven't actually created a template for this yet, but let's just assume that we will create a template called notelist.html. Okay. Right, now let's just create that template file, notelist.html. And we also want to make Flask, we want to make sure that our application knows about this route. So to do that, or this blueprint. So to do that, go to app.py, and we need to import this now. So from noteapp.views.notes import BP as notes BP. So BP is this variable here that we are importing. Right, now we want to do app.register blueprint notes BP, right? Now let's start our application actually. Let's do Chromium. Let's put, let's have it down there actually. And then we can go to localhost 5000 and /notes. And you should actually see a blank page here because we have nothing in our HTML, but this just shows that it's working. Okay, I sort of want to have this, I don't know, let's, it's sort of in the way. Let's put it in another workspace actually. Let's put it there. All right, so now, so this is our note list HTML. This is our index HTML. We're gonna modify our index HTML a little bit to make this our base template. So remove the stuff that we have in here. And inside the body tag, we're gonna add something called block. Whoa, block content, for example. No, let's call it block body. Block body. And block. So in other templates, we can actually make other templates inherit this template, and then we can inject other HTML between these tags so that we don't have to write this HTML all the time. So let's actually rename the template as well, the index HTML. So I'm going to rename that to layout.html instead. So now the index.html is called layout.html. Now in our notelist.html, we will inherit from that. And by to do that, we just type this, extends layout.html. Okay. Now we can use the body block like this, and we can put other stuff in here. So let's just type list of notes. Now if we refresh the page, we should see the list of notes thing here. Cool. Now what we want to do is that we will, inside our view, the blueprint, we will import the get notes function that we wrote before. So from noteapp.noteutils import get notes, and then we will just do notes equals get notes like that. Now if we refresh the page, we should see no change whatsoever because we don't have any notes. Okay, but this is a good start. And we don't have any way to render it as well. We haven't really defined any ways to render it. So yeah, even if we had notes, we wouldn't see them here actually. But yeah, so we will also have another endpoint here to actually create notes. So let's just add another endpoint here, or another route. Let's call this edit. So this will be our route to edit or create notes. So def edit return render template note edit.html. So And we haven't created this template as well, but we're just gonna copy the note list HTML to note edit.html. And let's just write another title here, like create note. Cool. Now if we go to /notes/edit, we should see that. Okay. Now we want to have some sort of form here to actually be able to create notes. So let's create an HTML form here. Form method equals post. And we did have a title, so let's do input type equals text, name equals note title, and we had some content as well, so let's add a text area, name equals note content, like that. And maybe we can have a label here as well. And let's just type title, and let's do label for equals note content. Let's call this content. Let's just see how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty bad right now, but we'll worry about the design later. Now what I want to do is also add a button here. So input type equals submit, name equals submit, value equals create. So now if we refresh the page, we should also see a button here. Cool. And as I said, we will make this form prettier later. Now we want to handle this type of, when someone clicks the button, we want to create a note. So to do that, we'll go into our views and go into our notes.py blueprint. And we will import something else here called request. So from flask import request. Now, what we can do in our edit route, we will do if request.method equals post. Now just to make sure this works, we will do return it works. Just to show you guys. Now if we go back to the page and we click create, actually we will get an error here. What we have to do as well is to, inside of this here, we need to do methods equals post and get, so that Flask knows that these methods are allowed. Now go to the browser, we can go back to the form, and now if we create, we should see the message it works. Great, so now we can handle the request. So what we want to do now is that we want to look in our template here that we created, and as you can see, we have one field here called note_title and one field called note_content. Right. So let's go back and handle those fields. So title equals request.form.get title, and note title, and content equals request.form.get note content. And we also actually now want to import the create note method that we created from the note utils module. And now what we want to do is that we want to do create note title equals title, content equals content. Right? So let's just see if that works. Okay, let's see what happens. So if we go to here and type banana banana is cool. Create. So as we see, nothing happens. But I think now if we look at our files here, we should see the database.json, and we should actually see the note in here. So cool. Now, if we go to the other route that we had, this one, we want to render notes that has been created. So let's go to the notelist.html, and we're going to do a little loop here. So let's do, maybe we should use a UL tag here, I don't know. Yeah, let's do a UL tag here for now. And do, let's check if notes exist first. So if notes, and we can make this prettier later for another video. For notes in notes, lee tag, let's just print the, for note in notes, let's just print the note.title. And let's do end4. Now we should see that note that we created here. Yeah, we can see the note that we created. So if we go to create here again, or edit, I mean, and type Python is a great language, and we hit create. And now if we go back here, we should see that as well. Cool, so now we can actually create notes. But maybe we want a button here to be able to go back to the create page or edit page. So to do that, we will just go to the note list, and we will add, let's just add a link here to /notes/edit, create note. So we can now hit there to create notes, blah, 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 create. Cool, that works. Now, maybe we want to be able to, maybe we should be redirected to the note list when we create a note. So to do that, we will just, inside our notes.py, in the views folder, we will do, after the note has been created, we will do return redirect /notes. And to be able to do redirect, we have to import redirect from Flask. Cool. So now, if we go back here and we create a note, milk is good. We get redirected back here, and now I can see that one here. Now, that works pretty good. Now, this is all for this video. In the next video, we will be able to go click on notes and also view the contents of them, and possibly like redesign, add some styling to our application. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.